story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Frank Omalape and here are some of the stories filing in at this time. As tension mounts in Ekiti over spate of violence that have already claimed one life, the state governor Kayode Fayemi and Governor-elect Ayo Fayoshi have engaged in war of words over their individual roles in the mayhem. Rashid completes the story.
The dust raised by the violent crisis is still unsettled as many continue to count their losses. The two leading political figures in the state, Governor Kayode Fayemi and Governor-elect Ayo Fayoshi, however, chose to settle for the blame game. Fayemi, in his submission, wants Fayoshi held solely responsible for the disruption of peace in the state, an accusation Fayoshi described as a figment of Fayemi's imagination.
Ayo Fayoshi should be solely and primarily held responsible for what is happening in the state. This state has witnessed an unprecedented level of peace over the last 4 years.
I will continue to accord that office all the respect, and I will not want to join issues with him. So when I don't want to join issues, like I said, he owns his mouth to run it if he wants to run it. You understand?
The blame game continues as what could pass for washing dirty linings rages on. The two leading political actors make reference to earlier disruptions of proceedings at the venue of the Election Petition Tribunal.
If you disagree with a ruling or a judgment, since you submitted yourself to the processes of the courts and you have allowed representation in the courts, you appeal the process. That's known.
Their target is to make sure that the inauguration doesn't take place. That is their target. So having failed in the backdoor arrangements in the courts, they've resulted into self-help.
Not yet done with each other, Fayemi and Fayoshi also took up the integrity question.
You can tell that to the Marines that he was not there. He knew what happened. I know what happened. The chief judge knew what happened. All the people who were affected knew what happened. So, and everybody knows his antecedents.
If we have not been working hard to calm the fray now, this place will still have been burning. So for me, my duty is to ensure we have peace.
With few days to the October 16th handing over date, the sound bites from Ekiti are already sounding like the drum beats of war. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Unknown gunmen have shot dead a prominent member of the Zazzau Emirate Council in Kaduna, Kabiru Buhari. Police said his body was discovered in a car on Friday evening by a combined security and community search team at his farm on the outskirts of Kaduna. He was said to have a gunshot wound on his head. A spokesman of the Zazzau Emirate, Ahmed Ali Idris, told journalists that the late Buhari left the council meeting at about 5 p.m. on Thursday, but his family said he didn't sleep at home. The influential leader was shot dead in an area that has in recent times witnessed several attacks and unresolved assassinations. The Southern Kaduna Coalition says over 200 people have been killed and 4,000 displaced after more than 53 attacks in Kara local government area of the state. The group claims that the attacks in the area were carefully planned and executed between 2011 and 2014. Members of the coalition also insisted at a press conference in Abuja that the authorities have done little or nothing to stop the attacks.
What we have now is a very serious situation in Southern Kaduna that needs deep and proper information gathering, intelligence gathering, so that they can scope and stop those people coming from wherever to come to kill people. You don't just sit back and say and make some policy statements or some political statements and expect it to wish it away. It can't go anywhere. So we need them to do that which is proper and right to stop the killings in Southern Kaduna. You live in a community, and if government is trying to tell us that they're incapable of taking care of their people, they should say so. You can't ask me to leave my area and go to somewhere else. It's not done anywhere in the world. I've never heard it before.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Chidi Odikalu, is holding the authorities accountable for the bloodletting in southern Kaduna. This, according to him, is because there is no visible effort to stop the violent killings. He said this on the sidelines of a presentation by the affected communities in Abuja.
Now, that killings are taking place within the state that hosts the most capable division of the Nigerian army says something is wrong. And you see, you're not talking about one person being killed or two people being killed or three people. Post-election violence, over 1,000 people were killed. Since then, as you heard this morning, over 4,000 people have been killed, 53 attacks, right? Tens of thousands of people displaced. And now we're going into political season. We did not have elections in Kaduna between 2011 and now. And over 4,000 people have been killed and over tens of thousands of people displaced. So can you imagine what could happen if we had the excitement of a political election season engrafted onto that? And that is why this is happening. That's why people are raising, the inhabitants of southern Kaduna are raising concerns, because the omens are not good at all. The easiest way to stop it is get the elected politicians interested in stopping it, because they know who's doing it. So there's an elected governor. There is an elected senator and elected senators. There are elected members of the House of Representatives. There are elected members of the House of Assembly. What are they doing? Why are they allowing their voters to be wiped out?
The Federal High Court will on September 30 entertain argument on a suit filed by former Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, Balangilari, to nullify his purported resignation. The former Deputy Governor wants the court to stop the October 11 by-elections in Adamawa and order his reinstatement. Presiding Judge Adeni Ademola is to hear all the applications and the substantive matter on the same day to ensure speedy dispensation of the case.
It's just that the court has adjourned the matter to Tuesday for hearing of all applications together with the substantive matter. And that's what we are coming to do on Tuesday before the court. So that the court will determine once and for all whether the deputy governor of the former deputy governor of Adamawa State, Barrister Ngilari, actually resigned or not. Because we are saying he did not resign as required by the Constitution. And after the impeachment of Nyako, or the purported impeachment, he should have been sworn in as the governor of Adamawa State. So we are seeking to stop the elections on October 11. That's what we are seeking to do.
What about on the issue?
We are saying there's no vacancy in Adamawa State. There's no vacancy.
On the issue of jurisdiction?
That's what the court wants to take together with the substantive matter. So if the court decides in our favor, then there will be no elections in Adamawa State. If the court decides in their favor, the elections will go on.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says the independence of the judiciary is a fundamental requirement for the sustenance of democracy and democratic governance in Nigeria. Fashola, who spoke against the backdrop of a recent judgment which pronounced financial autonomy for the judiciary, says he's for an independent judiciary, but the decision must be tested in court so that challenges created with the judgment can be addressed. Fashola says the issue of the practicality of the judgment needs to be worked on so as to ensure its implementation, which he says is now a major issue. He also assured all Lagosians that the issue of the collapse of a building belonging to a religious organization will be addressed, promising that justice will be done on the matter. He says the government has put machinery in motion to ensure that the matter is effectively tackled, disclosing that it took his intervention for those impending initial rescue operations at the site to be dislodged. You're watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a short break now. I'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
Welcome you to From the Ivory Tower. On happenings around the country, varsity teachers get to air their views.
students are actually not left out. We bring you intellectual ends on the events happening around you. It is dedicated to educating the populace with a spice of entertainment.
From the Ivory Tower, Tuesdays, only on CoreTV News.
Glad to have you back now. President Goodluck Jonathan says his administration has reduced Nigeria's poverty to 50%. And the report says that the President Jonathan disclosed it at the PDP South-South Unity rally held at the Samilogbe Media Stadium in Benin, the Edo State capital. Present at the rally were the governors of Cross River, Delta, Bayelsa, and Abia State. Also present were the Senate President David Mark Victor Udoma Egba, ministers from the South-South, and top functionaries of the party. The president stated that all the states in the South-Side geopolitical zone were dominated by the PDP at the inception of democratic governance in the country, and the party would do all it could to get the state back under its leadership. The president commended members of the party in Edo and Rivers, currently dominated by the All Progressive Congress, for remaining faithful to the party despite the situation in their states of origin. He officially welcomed a former leader of the APC, Tommy Kimi, and other former members of the party, including national and state assembly members, back into the fold of the PDP. The statement credited to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission that the commission will register more political parties has started generating reactions from Nigerians, especially the political class. Politicians in Osun State have expressed divergent opinions on the matter while responding to the issue. Rashid Rashid reports from Oshobo.
Registration of political parties in Nigeria has always been a controversial issue, and many have argued that the matter should not be the sole responsibility of the electoral umpire, INEC. With the recent deregistration of some political parties on the basis of non-performance, many see the move to register more parties as a curious step by INEC, especially those in the APC.
Definitely, there's a ulterior motive. They want to weaken other political parties because they want to draw some best material from a strong political party for the people to, Nigerians, they prefer, most Nigerians prefer to be king in hell than to be servant in heaven. So that is what is happening. They will just draw them from big political party to go and form a small party so that they will see themselves as chairman and secretary and treasurer respectively.
To those in the PDP, INEC should be taking steps towards delivering a credible and acceptable elections in 2015 rather than compounding the Commission's problem in registering more political parties.
The INEC should get itself better, like I said earlier on, acquainted with the provision of the law. To get properly ready to conduct free, fair, credible elections. That is, election is some few months now. To begin to toy with the idea of creating political parties, registering some, I think it's not in consonance with some readiness for the all-important election that is coming up.
Though INEC is empowered within the law to register new political parties, this chieftain of the All Progressives Grand Alliance believes registering more parties at this point is wrong.
I think Professor Tairu Jeka and INEC will be carrying out such an exercise at a very awkward time, because the party primaries process are ongoing now. Like the APC, they fix their own convention for December 2nd. I heard that. And for the PDP, they have November. And for you to now say you are now registering new party now and registering some, that steps should have been taken earlier than this. Because the INEC is doing two wrong things at this point in time. The issue of the unit, creation of new polling units, is a little bit late. Then you now want to add the issue of the registering and re-registering new. What of some other parties that I know that were registered late during the last election? They were unable to field any candidate. So if you deregister or re-register new parties now, they cannot meet up with the time to conduct the party primaries and to present candidates for the election.
The recent deregistration of political parties by INEC, which is still being contested in court by some of the parties, divided opinion when it was done. But with the move for another registration of parties, Nigerians are watching how this will play out. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
The ECOWAS Coordinating Ministerial Group on Ebola virus disease is seeking an urgent mobilization of security forces of member states to strengthen the regional response and interventions against the disease. This is the key recommendation in a communique issued at the end of its meeting in Ghana. The ministerial group headed by Ghana's Health Minister Kwaku Ageme-Mensah recommended that the armed and security forces should, among others, provide medical personnel and logistics, as well as mobilize the military engineers regiment to set up Ebola treatment centers in countries in the sub-region. The ministers will consider the report of the just ended two-day meeting of the ECOWAS Technical Monitoring Surveillance Group on Ebola response. Also called for adequate financial incentives for health personnel already on ground in member states. In addition, the ministerial group urged ECOWAS to deploy a delegation from West African Health Organization to support national coordination efforts in countries affected by the disease. Now, the Road Safety Corps has admonished Nigerians to be conscious of their lives and that of other road users by being careful and adhering to road signs. This came as the Mba month in which the country records high cases of road mishap in 13. Amotayo Law reports from Imo.
The last 4 months of the year, popularly called Ember Months, is known for several occurrences of accidents and other road mishaps. Increased activities and other festivities, which is significant to increased movements of people and goods, are reasons why accidents are high. The Director General of the Imo State Civil Guard Corps, Donatus Ejijuga, assures citizens of a traffic-free road, especially in the Ember Months.
We want to put sanity in town. We want to make sure that Owerri is safe and the traffic control in Owerri is okay. Aside
from traffic gridlock, past events have recorded more accidents and loss of lives on our highways. Drivers at one of the parks in Owerri say they try to be extra careful during this period.
Taking of alcohol is not good for every driver. Then the third one is be very patient, not if you just drive like a mad somebody. So I would say all these things are one of the things or every driver, every road user is supposed to have in mind when you come out of your house.
Once you are living in your house in the morning, you have to pray hard. You know, say normally anything in month, we always have anything temptation of all those things, all those spiritual, all those killing of things. So we believe as we are going on the road, if you come out in the morning, you pray hard.
Some passengers who commented attributed their safety to God, in addition to keeping close tabs on the drivers.
You know, during months, a lot of things that don't happen, always happen, but all we do is to pray and ask God to protect us.
You make sure you always put on your seat belts. That's it.
The only thing is for us to advise the driver to take it easy.
Driving one way, trying to go to Port Harcourt or Onitsha in 2 hours time or in hours time, everybody have to be careful so that there'll be no more accidents during Ember months.
The sector commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Imo State, Yusuf Salami, stated that recklessness and disobedience to traffic laws by road users is responsible for road mishaps and not some imaginary enemies.
The country is working on speed limit devices. We are working on that in such a way that you see all commercial vehicle operators will install it in their vehicle, and once they regulated it, no matter how they press their pedal, the vehicle will not move more than the required speed limit if it is on the expressway of 100 km/h. And once you do that, we believe that that high level percentage that has been contributed to road traffic crash as a result of speed violation will reduce, and all the related offences that are around here that lead to road traffic crashes will reduce.
Available statistics of increased accident during the Ember months has necessitated such campaigns so as to reduce the rate of accidents.
This part of the year, popularly referred to as the Ember month season, is associated with a lot of accidents and road mishaps. Security operatives say individuals are actually responsible for the major evils that happen on the road. Their message to them is to take their lives more seriously and adhere to traffic rules and regulations. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Owerri.
Now, marriage is an institution revered by the scriptures, and as a Muslim, your religion is deemed incomplete until you're married. And with this in mind, CoreTV News, Abiola Oluwole and his heartthrob, former Miss Abimbola Oriola, were joined in holy matrimony at the Ikeja Local Government's registry. The report is presented from our studios. With his dance into the venue with his friends, Biola Oluwole officially met his in-laws who were obviously elated to see him as he performs the traditional rites of prostrating for his in-laws, assisted by his friends. While the new couple and their well-wishers continue to rejoice and dance for the joy of the day and looking into the brighter future ahead, parents of the couple have this to say to them on what their feelings are on the day.
I'm very happy. Is that they should live a life of give and take. So, and they should not let any intruder come into their midst. First of all, to listen to what the sermons they gave them were, and above all, cooperate, patient, and be industrious.
I'm so happy, so excited, because she's a, my daughter, she's a very loving daughter, very honest, very humble, and the husband too, I'm so happy that Miriam got married to Bashir.
Dancing, hugging, and in obvious bliss over the success of their day. The bride and groom say they are elated while also thanking well-wishers for the support.
Be patient, be perseverance. Perseverance is the key. Perseverance is the key. Perseverance is the key. I'm short of words. I'm overwhelmed. My appreciation goes to everybody, from the management of CoreTV, Core Media, everybody.
Thank God for making today possible. I'm grateful to Almighty Allah.
While wishing them a blissful and happy married life, and friends and family continue to celebrate them even after. Can anybody begrudge them for this dance for a successful day? Certainly not. Indeed, a memorable time there for the newly wedded. Well, you're watching CoreTV News at 7. Take another break now. We'll return with more stories. Join us again.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's still CoreTV News at 7. Outside Nigeria now, the unconscious bodies of 31 hikers have been found near the top of Japan's Mount Ontake, which has continued to erupt for the second day running. The hikers who were not breathing at the time they were found were part of the total number of 45 hikers who have been searched for, with climbers now calling off the search for the day. The Mount Ontake volcano, which is about 200 kilometers west of Tokyo, first erupted on Saturday without warning, spewing ash and rocks, with about 250 people initially trapped on the slopes of the popular beauty spot, but most got down safely. The eruption forced most of those on the slopes to make emergency descent through clouds of volcanic ash and falling rocks. Some of the people who escaped from the eruption say the ash built up so fast, making it very difficult for them to breathe, while also expressing worries over the fate of about 50 people who were thought to have stayed over a night on the mountain. Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News at 7. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Join us again at 9:45 p.m. for our primetime bulletin. Bye for now.